Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to another Turtle Updates video. In this video, we're going to talk about a bunch of Ninja Turtles news stories that came out this week. And there's a lot of it's comic book news. There's a bunch of new titles that were announced, but we also have some action figure and statue news as well. And we're going to talk about all of that in this video. So go ahead, grab a slice of pizza and dive on into the sewers because we're going to take a look at some of these Turtle updates. Alright, so first up, we're looking over here on IGN, and you can see the headline right there. The TMNT goes into the Turtleverse with new crossover. Let's take a look down here and see what they have to say. Kicking off in TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures issue number 12, this crossover happens when the classic 1987 animated Turtles again butt shells with the reality warping villain, Mr. Og. As seen in the page below, the animated Turtles will be confronted with heroes from the various other animated and comic book TMNT projects. So yeah, you can see this new image here, and down there at the bottom you see the 1987 cartoon Turtles, which is the Turtles that the Saturday Morning Adventures comic follows, and they're meeting a different group of Turtles here, and you can see that this group is made up of Mirage Comics Leonardo, the 2012 animated series version of Michelangelo, the 2003's version of Donatello, Rise of the TMNT's Raphael, and IDW Comics' Jennika. So yeah, super cool. It's almost like a Turtles Forever 2, but in the comics. For those who don't know, Turtles Forever was the made-for-TV movie where the 2003 Turtles met the 1987 Turtles. There was this interesting part here to the article that says, after they explain which Turtles are in the crossover, that for as how this crossover transpires and what it means for the Turtles going forward, we'll have to wait for the issue to release, and that writer Eric Burnham and artist Sarah Meyer are both teasing a big twist yet to be revealed. So that's interesting. I wonder if we'll get even more Turtles from other continuities. You can see down here in the article a cover for issue 13, and it also has the characters of the crossover on it, so it does look like this will be more than just the one issue event. And then down here in the article it says the issue will be released on April 24th, so a couple months away from this recording. And yeah, that's pretty much all the new info here on what's going on here, and it's super exciting. It's not every day you get to see different versions of the Turtles interact with each other. So yeah, it's a pretty big news story here, but not the only one. Let's go ahead and take a look at what else was announced this week. Alright, the next few stories are actually a bunch of different comic titles that were announced by IDW Publishing. And yeah, it looks like we're going to be getting a bunch of different Ninja Turtles comics this year, other than just like the main Ninja Turtles title that they're relaunching. So they'll be the main series, but then they have all these other ones that we're going to go through here in this article. And this is coming over here from Nerdist.com. First up, you have the title Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Black, White, and Green. And you can see that the books are just as the title says, Black, White, and Green. Looking over here at the press release for this title, you can see it says, leaping into comic shops on May 8th is a brand new indie anthology series, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Black, White, and Green, featuring a radical lineup of acclaimed writers and artists on every new issue, including Declan Shalvey, Paulina Ganuche, Javier Rodriguez, and Jock. This series will unleash visually striking short stories using only black, white, and green. So yeah, super interesting. The fact that it's an anthology series makes me think every book is its own universe, but we'll have to wait and see when it comes out. Alright, so the next title that was announced was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Night Watcher. And you can see on the cover there what looks like a turtle in the Night Watcher suit. You can tell it's a turtle because it has 3 fingers, unless it's another mutant that also has 3 fingers, but usually that's one of the turtles. Let's take a look at the description on this one. It says, this ongoing series comes to us from writer Junie Ba and artist Pharaoh Pei. In Who is the Night Watcher, a new vigilante rises up to stand against violence and discrimination against mutants. A prelude story will appear in the TMNT Free Comic Book Day 2024 issue. Then it says, in the 2007 animated TMNT movie, this was the vigilante identity that Raphael used, and fans quickly fell in love with it. But who is the Night Watcher in the IDW universe? That's the big question as this new vigilante steps into the scene. So yeah, it does look like the Night Watcher is back, and it did say in an ongoing series, so this will have multiple issues. You can see an image there of the concept art. Now, I didn't see a release date on this one, but as they said, there will be a prelude story in the TMNT Free Comic Book Day issue. So yeah, I believe Free Comic Book Day is on May 4th. So that's when we'll get our first peek here at the Night Watcher. Now let's go ahead and take a look at another title that was announced. This one was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Usagi Yojimbo Saturday Morning Adventures #1. The description here reads, this 40-page one-shot issue by writer Eric Burnham and artist Jack Lawrence, bringing the Turtles together with one legendary badass rabbit, hits comic book shops in June. You can check out all 4 covers. So yeah, you can see the different covers there and the different art styles, and they all look great. And yeah, it's always exciting when Usagi teams up with the Turtles. It does look like this is just a one-shot, so a one-and-done story, but it does look like it takes place in that Saturday Morning Adventures continuity. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Then further down here in the article, you could see another title that was announced, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Nation. You can see the logo there as well. You can see some barbed wire there on the logo. In the press release, you can see the description for Mutation Nation, and it reads, "The TMNT universe is full of compelling and exciting characters, and this September, the TMNT Mutation Nation ongoing series will bring that amazing array of characters into the spotlight." Tom Waltz, the co-writer of more than 100 issues of TMNT and The Last Ronin, will be joined by spectacular storyteller Sophie Campbell and more fan-favorite TMNT creatives to continue exploring the rich universe and its many mutants. Then you get a quote here from Tom Waltz that says, "With TMNT Mutant Nation, we have the opportunity to further expand our long-running IDW TMNT universe alongside Jason Aaron's relaunch of the main ongoing TMNT series." So yeah, it does look like there will be this separate ongoing series, Mutant Nation, that takes place in the same universe as Jason Aaron's relaunch. So yeah, it looks like we'll be getting like twice the stories in this universe that we're currently getting. Then it says issue 1 of TMNT Mutation Nation goes on sale in September. So a little bit of a wait for that one. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of new Turtle stories here in the near future. And then lastly, we got a quick look here at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Alpha #1 one-shot. I believe this will be that book that bridges the old Ninja Turtles comic book run, the ones that went to 150 issues, and this new relaunch that Jason Aaron is doing. This is that comic that I believe is like set in between the two volumes. You can see the description on this one says, "Finally, we have a one-shot issue featuring a story by Tom Waltz and Gavin Smith and Jason Aaron and Chris Burnham. This issue marks Jason Aaron's debut as TMNT writer. He'll also be writing the relaunch in July." So yeah, that relaunch of the main Ninja Turtles comic book. Then it says, "And this story will set the tone for the comics to follow." It'll be cool to see how they transition everything over story-wise. Anyways, it says here, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Alpha #1 will go on sale June 5th. Then finally, at the end of the article here, you get a little tease. It says, "Even more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles titles than this are coming soon from IDW, with official announcements forthcoming. Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo are set to have a big birthday year in 2024. So damn, not only are we getting all these titles that we just went through, but it does look like they have more on the way. We'll have to wait and see what those are when they get announced. But yeah, huge announcements here. What do you think of all these titles? Which one are you most excited for? There's also The Last Ronin 2, which is about to come out in a couple weeks. So there's that title as well. There's just a whole bunch of them. I'll have to do a video breaking it all down at some point. But yeah, exciting news here. Let me know what you guys think. Let's go ahead and move on over to the next story. All right, next up, this is coming over here from IGN. You could see they did an interview with TMNT co-creator Kevin Eastman. We'll go ahead and play some of those clips here and react to them. But yeah, he talks a little bit about The Last Ronin 2, Re-Evolution, and just kind of like some stuff about the new generation of Turtles. He does touch also on the video game, the Last Ronin video game that's on the way. But let's go ahead and jump into the first clip here, and then we'll discuss it on the other side.
Yes, taking a step back and even looking at the idea of doing a part 2, do a sequel, was something that we really questioned and really hadn't planned when we started doing Last Ronin. So we found a place that we wanted to stay in and tell stories for as long as we could. And so the evolution of the new Turtles and this, and what you're seeing here specifically is takes place 16 years after Last Ronin 1 ended. Casey Marie Jones is the woman in the purple you see there with the half of a Casey mask on. And she's trained and become the sensei and general parent of the new Turtles. They're going out on one of their first missions. It's tough to know to not want to give you lots and lots and lots and lots of spoilers. One of the things that we did want to do was really update the characters. There's 2 male, 2 female Turtle characters, and me and Tom trying to write what teenagers might think and say and do, especially set in the story takes place in the future. But it was really to come up with some familiar stereotypes of personalities and characters, but make them interesting and unique, and something that we experience, and even talking with our kids or other kids that we meet at shows and stuff. So yeah, there's a nice cross section of different personalities. Much like the original Turtles, you want to have them always love their family, but not always like them. And so they might argue, they might spat, they might have disagreements. But when they need to work together as a team, it's the heart and soul of the family that always keeps them together. And that's That's always going to be the foundation of anything we do with turtles. It was tough, and it was one of those things that when you're following in the footsteps of something that works so well on so many levels, but it was one of those things also when you look back at the original creation of the shows, they all had a very similar look, a very similar style. It really wasn't until, say, some of the early episodes of the cartoons where we even did things like changing the color of the bandanas and things like that. But with this, I had a specific idea. Tom and I had a very specific idea. We wanted them to be different species of turtles, so they would have different physical attributes, and that would translate into their height and weight and even personality. And so I gave some sketches, a whole lot of reference to the amazing Ben Bishop, and said, give me some of your first thoughts. And so Ben really crafted some beautiful silhouettes and some unique designs. And it was, going through the process of seeing all these, quote unquote, naked turtles, and then wanting to put outfits on them and play dress up and making them work logically and sensibly of what they might be. But it was fun. We were very pleased. It was a lot of good work getting to something that I felt worked as a unique look for them.
All right, so there you saw him talk a little bit about the upcoming Last Ronin sequel, and you can see that they're showing that preview page that is up on IGN's website. Let's go ahead and break down that image real quick. On the first frame there, you can see it says, Commander Zaragoza wasn't kidding. This is a freaking mess. And you can see the turtles and Casey Marie Jones there watching a bunch of people here like lighting stuff on fire, stealing supplies. Then it cuts over to this frame here and you see the dialogue continues with, bad enough they steal our stuff, but now they're trashing the place too. And then Casey Marie Jones says, okay, nothing fancy, just follow my lead, pick a target and take them down hard. Then you see her start fighting some of these guys and she says, don't you idiots know everything here is already free? All you gotta do is wait in line to get it, just like everyone else. It would be a lot less painful that way. And then you see her grab one of the guys and she like launches him a pretty good distance and he falls into the water of the river nearby. So yeah, it does look like we're getting to see a little bit of her abilities here. For those of you who maybe didn't read the original Last Ronin book, or maybe forgot, there was a point in that original story where April O'Neil says something about, because she was always like close to the turtles and around them and stuff, that the radiation from like the ooze that mutated them did something to her, which then affected her baby when it was born. And Casey Marie Jones here was that baby. So yeah, April hinted at her having abilities and being different and stuff. And now we're kind of getting to see it a little bit. You see the turtles and they're watching her. One of them says, Sensei's a beast. And then the other one, Yi, says, I'm not sneaking out of the lair ever again. It cuts back over to Casey Marie and now she's fighting like a few different guys. And she starts yelling at the turtles, quit standing around and fight. Then you see the turtles leap into action and then the preview ends. But yeah, pretty cool start here to the story. I'm curious to see where this goes. But yeah, that's about it for the preview page here. But the interview continued and they did ask Kevin about those comments Zack Snyder made about the Ninja Turtles not that long ago, about him being a fan of them. So yeah, they asked him here about a Zack Snyder Last Ronin movie, and then they touch on the new Last Ronin video game a little bit. I'll go ahead and play it next. That way you guys can check it out here.
I've been certainly a fan of Zack Snyder. We've gotten to be friends over the years. We've met on a couple of different projects that never got off the ground, but I feel like the best part of it became, we got to be friends. He's a fan, a very solid fan of this genre, these, whether it be movies or comics. He's a very serious heavy metal comic fan. He'd be an amazing director, and I thought it was a real treat that he pulled out some of his original comics for an interview he did recently. It's interesting when we looked at the opportunities to continue telling stories in the Roninverse. A movie was definitely a natural, something we thought would be wonderful to pursue. Paramount and their decision to do an amazing movie with Seth Rogen with the Mutant Mayhem Project, which I thought was absolutely laugh out loud, hilariously funny, beautifully done. And there's going to be more in that universe. It seemed natural that Last Ronin would evolve as a video game. It seemed like we could hit all of the attitudes and the action and the intensity of the series in a video game format. And we've seen a lot of development on it. I could not be more excited. And that when you look at it in the comic book, you see flat surface, a level, a plane, a building. You see this part of it. The video game, suddenly we can go around the corner and we can go, we can see all the rest of it. And the designers and the artisans that are bringing the video game to life are fans as well. And it feels like some of the stuff's been ripped right out of the pages of the comic book. They're going all the way in and then some. So it's looking really excited. I'm excited for fans to see more of what they're doing on the video game.
So yeah, super cool to see him talk about the video game there and how we'll be able to like look around like the universe of The Last Ronin when it comes out. I could already kind of like see it in my head what he's talking about, and I can't wait. That just sounds super cool. But yeah, that was about it for the interview with him. Let me know what you guys think about all that. Do you think Zack Snyder would make a good Last Ronin movie? Would love to see your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. But that's not it for the news stories. There's more. Let's go ahead and move on over to the next story. All right, next up, we're looking over here on AIPTcomics.com, and you can see that they have a preview for the upcoming miniseries TMNT, The Untold Destiny of the Foot Clan. This will be a comic miniseries that comes out on March 20th, and now we have a look at the first few pages. You can see that the book is going to start off with Karai here, now in charge of the Foot Clan, and her new allies as they try to complete a job for a new client. Their objective is to steal a piece of proprietary technology, as she describes it. You can see her allies here. You have Casey Jones, a few fellow others, Bebop and Rocksteady there in the back, and then some others here. She says that the client does not require stealth for this job, so Casey Jones says this should be good, and then she says, no, Casey Jones, it'll be fun. And then we hop over to this big brawl at this facility where they're trying to get that piece of technology for their client. You have some cool action here with everybody fighting. You can see Casey Jones there in the background, Karai leaping through the air up there. And then it cuts over to a big whale mutant that's here protecting the facility, and Bebop and Rocksteady have their hands full with him. You can see Bebop getting slammed to the ground back there and then getting launched into Rocksteady, and the two fall back. Eventually you see Bebop and Rocksteady figure out a strategy on how to debilitate the whale mutant, and then they start beating him up here. They beat him while he's down, very Bebop and Rocksteady like, and then you see that the fight is over and it looks like they're ready to enter the facility to get what they need to get. But yeah, that's where the preview ends here. When this miniseries was announced, they did call it the spiritual successor to The Secret History of the Foot Clan, which was a different miniseries back in the early days of the IDW comics. And I want to say that one had like flashbacks to the Foot Clan, like back in feudal Japan. I wonder if this one's going to have the same kind of like flashback stories. But yeah, overall, looks fun. You have Mateus Santaluco back doing art. I know he's a fan favorite, so you know this is going to look great. But let's go ahead and move on over to the next story, which is actually some action figure news having to do with these IDW characters. So yeah, let's go check that out. All right, next up, we're looking over here on TikTok on the account Culture Shock Collectibles. And you can see that recently at the Toy Fair in Melbourne, they got a look at some new Ninja Turtles Loyal Subject action figures. And these are characters from the IDW comics that we've never gotten figures of before. First up, you can see that they're doing a Rat King figure. You can see him right there. He's got the interchangeable hands and an interchangeable head, as well as some other accessories there that we can't really make out. Maybe that's like a little rat or something right there in the corner. But yeah, it's not the only IDW figure that they saw. You could see over here that they're also going to be doing an Alopex figure. You could see her there, and she has like the pink markings on her eyes. And it does look like you might get a different version of her, because there was this shot as well, but now she has the blue markings on her eye. So yeah, it looks like we'll be getting two different versions here of Alopex. And lastly, you can see here that a set was revealed, which appears to be the Demon Ninja Turtles from the Shredder in Hell miniseries. And you can't really see how they look all the way because of the glare, but this is what they look like in the comics, just so you guys can get kind of an idea of what these guys look like. But yeah, that's all the new Loyal Subject IDW figures. We had covered in the past the rumors of these other characters coming. That was in a separate updates video, but these characters were on that, and there was still a lot more that we haven't seen yet. So I would imagine they're also on the way. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for that and talk about it in a future updates video once they get revealed. But that does it for this story. Let's go ahead and move on over to the next one. All right, next up, we have some statue news. We're looking over here on the Iron Studios YouTube channel, and you can see that they recently revealed a new Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin statue that they're going to be doing. You can see him right there, the Last Ronin, and he's holding all the bandanas of all the brothers. He's got a nunchuck in the other hand, and he's perched on top of this rooftop here. This is a sweet looking statue. I haven't seen this one before. This was just announced, and I just love all the little details they put into these. I did see that it was currently listed on BigBadToyStore.com for pre-order, and you can see right there, it goes for $199.99, and that it'll arrive in fourth quarter of 2024. It says it's 9.2 inches tall and made of polystone. So yeah, new Last Ronin statue revealed. What do you guys think? I think it's pretty sweet. But that about does it for the latest Ninja Turtles news. I'll go ahead and finish off the video here with this clip from the recent 26th Annual Family Film and TV Awards. There was this moment in the broadcast where the voice actor of 1990 Donatello, Corey Feldman, and the voice actor for Mutant Mayhem Donatello, Micah Abbey, got on stage together and had a cowabunga moment. I'll go ahead and play that here at the end. But yeah, make sure to subscribe if you want more turtle news like this in your life. Also follow on all the socials. Thanks everybody for watching. I will see you all in a little bit with another video. Take care.
And by the way, I totally dug your Donatello.
Well, thank you. Actually, I thought your Donatello had all the drip.
Stop it. And I mean, we've got to say it right.
I guess so.
Cowabunga, dude!